Welcome to Garden Cafe. I'm Maureen, and this is my Central Texas Zone 8B 9A garden. Today, I'm going to start with deadheading many of my flowers. Very important. On so many of them, if you do not deadhead flowers, you are not going to get beautiful blooms that will follow. The more you deadhead, the more flowers come in. Dahlias are one of the easier ones to figure out. You can see that this one has already bloomed. Its petals are gone. So you just follow it back and cut it. And that's it. It's pretty simple. And they usually grow in a Y. Pruning dahlias is a little difficult to verbally explain. I'm going to put a little thing next to me here to make it a little bit more clear. But basically, dahlias grow in a Y pattern with one flower in the center. The center flower is usually the first one that blooms, obviously the first one that dies. The two that grow up next to it are the ones that bloom next. So usually what you'll find, and you can see this is the center of the Y right here, this one. So this one obviously has bloomed and has died. So you would cut it, see if I can get this on camera, back to the beginning of that Y. What grows up next are the two flowers on either side of that Y. This one has not bloomed yet. This one already has, and the petals are going down. So we can clip that side of the Y. Let me get you in for a closer look. So every bloom you get, this one's about to, it's going to form a Y, two more that will grow alongside of it. And then these two will grow up and they will be a new Y. That's how you get such a tall plant. So it's really important to keep these as trimmed and as deadheaded as possible to allow the new blooms to come in. Now, as you can see, this Y is almost gone. We cut two of the branches just now. Down here, you can see we cut two off of this one. So once this one dies, you want to go all the way back because that branch also is a Y. And since this is the center branch, it will die before the ones growing up next to it. So the more you clip, the more blooms you get, the more beautiful it is. So I'm just going to continue to deadhead what I have here. Let me see. Actually, it looks pretty healthy. Let me come down to the yellow ones. This red one, I think I got all of them early. These dahlias are far shorter, but the principle is exactly the same. You end up with a Y. So that one is blooming, and it has another one growing up out of the side there and another one growing here. This one is dead. You want to cut it back all the way to the base of that Y, giving those two new blooms more energy to flower. Very important. Okay, this one too. Once they start going down, you should cut them. Here's a perfect example of a Y. You're going to cut it all the way down to that Y. And same here. You have two new blooms coming in and one that already bloomed and is dying. Cut it all the way back. Pretty simple once you get it, but you just have to follow all the way back to the next healthy Y area that's growing. This one is starting to fade, so we're going to go ahead and clip it back. And another one right here. All the way back. This one's longer. There we go. Okay, so the white ones, oh, there's one back there. Let me get him since I'm in here. And he still looks very pretty. And he's got two on the side ready to come in. So that'll be the next one I'll probably end up cutting. But about once a week, I try to get in here and deadhead everything. Very important for its growth. So now on to our roses. This is my fire and ice rose. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Very important to deadhead roses too. So much energy. Once this blooms, so much energy in the plant goes to these blooms. And when they start fading, you don't want that energy being wasted. You want it to focus on making new blooms. For roses, you go back and cut it to the next healthy 5-leaf. And you can see already, this one is already setting up buds right there for growth for new buds. So I'm going to cut right above there. You want to cut it back to the first healthy 5 leaves. There's 5 leaves. You want to cut it back to the first healthy 5 leaves. That's where the next bloom will set. So this guy is just coming up. Let's look at these down here. Ah, so pretty. But this one, let me move the dahlia. It is starting to fade. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it back to the next healthy 5 leaves. This one actually is broken. It looks like something must have landed on it. It is very pretty though. Back to the 5 leaves. That one I may bring inside and put in a vase. That's pretty. I think I will. So I'm not only going to go back to the next 5 leaves, I'm going to go far enough down so that I have a stem so that it'll go in a vase. Okay, and back here are another few fading blooms. Back to 5 leaves. And that one's just coming up. How pretty is that? That one's gorgeous, gorgeous. Oh, see, look, that one's starting to fade. Cut it back to the first 5-leaf pattern. And that one looks good. So let's move on to the next rose. This rose bush, oh my God, the smell is so incredible. It's sweet. It's just the most beautiful rose smell I think I've ever smelled on a rose. And they are gorgeous. And I wish I knew the name. I call this my Costco rose because I bought it from Costco. But you can see there's a new bloom starting here. One that's still pretty here, but on its way out. But the one in the center is definitely done. Simply cut, and I just cut and drop. It helps feed the soil. These tons of new buds ready to go. Beautiful bud in the middle. That one will be the first, obviously, that will die. But that branch looks good. And trying to avoid the thorns here, folks. This one, you can see, bud that's wearing out. 2 buds on the sides that are coming in. Gonna be gorgeous. And we want all the energy to go to those new buds. If you come in once a week and you deadhead, you always have other blooms that are flowering. If you come in once a month to deadhead, you're going to go from a bunch of flowers to no flowers, and it'll be about a week or 2 before you start seeing new ones. So if you come in once a week, you should always have blooms going. And that's sort of the goal. Another one. All right. And this one looks good. Let's move on. My dahlia. So pretty. All plants want to follow the same progression from seed to seed. It starts out as a seed or bulb or tuber or whatever. It then grows foliage or something that will absorb the energy needed for the plant to develop. It will then form buds or flowers of some type. I mean, for some flowers, some plants, the flowers are not very obvious. And then it puts all of its energy into turning the flowers into seeds, which will then grow more plants. So in the fall, I let all of this, or most of my flowers, I let go to seed. I collect the seeds and then I try to grow them for the next year. This time of year, I want my plants to focus on growing flowers, not on creating seeds. So that's why the deadheading is so wonderful. And look, I got scratched from the roses already. I'm going to follow this one back. The flower just fell off, or maybe one of the squirrels got to it. So I'm going to cut it all the way back to the Y. There we go. And these two branches are growing alongside the one that I just cut. So, like I said, if you keep them cut back, if you keep them deadheaded, you'll have gorgeous flowers. That one's just blooming. This one's getting a little bit older. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one just so that, as I said, the energy can go to growing more flowers. Lots of buds on this one. Okay, I'm going to continue with the dahlias on my back porch. Oh, here's a very clear example. Here's the Y. It did have a flower that grew here that I deadheaded. You can see it's cut right there. But now the two flowers on the side are no longer gorgeous. So this whole branch, I'm going to follow all the way back to where it wide out. And as you can see down here, I deadheaded the center one. These were the two side branches. This one's already done. And this one, it looks like the bud did not really have a lot of success. So I'm going to follow it again all the way down. And you can see it's a center branch. Let me make sure you can see this. So I followed this all the way down to where the Y was. Both of these are done. So I'm going to follow it all the way back to where the next Y is. And this part of the Y is pretty buds that are just coming up, opening up. This part of the Y, it's almost done. Let me get back to this one. I'm going to leave it for the moment and I'll explain why. But the one that's already done, this entire branch down to the Y, you literally cut it right there. Now all the energy is going to go towards the Y. Now back to this one. This one is obviously on its way down. Very pretty. Lost some of its petals already, but if you look, if you follow it along, you can see there's a tiny little Y down here, and there are buds at its base. So we're just going to cut the one in the center, and it's going to let all of the energy go towards creating these two new flowers. All right, let's see what else we can work on here. This one is fading. I'm going to turn the camera. You can see this one a little better from this angle. Ooh, well, see, it just fell off. These two are done. If you look at the center of the Y, I already deadheaded that one so that these two could grow. But now these two are done and they didn't form new branching off of this one, neither side. So you want to follow this all the way down. Let me try to turn this a little. All the way down, and you can see at its base, let's cut it out. At its base, there are two new branches with new buds growing. So now all of the energy will go towards these two instead of the center one, which wasn't producing any flowers anymore. I'm going to continue pruning and deadheading these dahlias. I have 3 that are in here right now. This one's absolutely beautiful. It's starting to fade, so I'll probably end up cutting that in the next few days. Just blooming. All right, the rest look good on this one. Let's move over to the next. My sister grew tons of seed dahlias this year, as you can see. So I have them outside, inside, in pots, in the ground. They are everywhere. And frankly, they have very rapidly become one of my favorite flowers. Oh, here's a perfect example of the Y. You've got a flower that is losing its petals, so it's definitely on the way down. And on either side of it, of the Y, you can see there are 2 buds forming. So cutting this out adds energy that goes to either side, to the other buds. And this one looks good. I must be doing a better job of deadheading than I thought. I grew calendula from seed this year, and I am just shocked at how gorgeous they are. Very important. You can see there are just tons of new buds, but so much of the energy goes towards turning this dying flower into seeds. Again, don't want it. So these, you just follow them back to where you see a new branch. Let me see if I can do this without hurting the plant. All right, turn it. All right, a new branch that's coming out that's producing a bud. You want to cut the dying flowers, all the way back to that point. Now, all of the energy can go towards getting to those new buds. This one is not dead yet, but it is definitely starting to fade. So again, I'm going to follow it all the way back until I see a new branch coming out that has a bud, and cut it there. Very simple, but these are little guys. But here's another one. Little guys, but they do add an awful lot of color to the garden. I've been very impressed with them. Very pretty. Again, all of these are going to open up here in the next few days. That's another one. And it's just going to be gorgeous. Some more calendula. Again, follow it back. Do you see where something else? Boy, this guy's going all the way back. There's nothing growing out of this one. But it looks like I already deadheaded two here. So I'm going to follow this stem all the way back to where it gets into the main part of the plant. And I'm going to cut it there. Again, more energy now goes to all of the buds. And this is my Savannah Rose, which, guys, I just love it. It's absolutely stunning, but thrips or something is so getting to these flowers. I mean, when they are buds, look at that. That is a bud that hasn't even opened yet. It looks totally damaged. I did cut all of these out and treated, but I'm still getting these. My sister said, just don't worry about it. Keep treating. And as you can see, some of the more recent ones are showing up very pretty. So maybe I just am not being patient enough with the treatment. I use the advanced, I don't know, an advanced all-in-one, whatever. It's a fertilizer, insect control. It seems to do everything for the roses, or it's supposed to. But for now, I'm just going to cut these guys off again down to the first 5 leaves. And as you can see, I've got some serious branching points that I've already cut off of here. But since all of these are pretty sad looking roses, I'm going to follow it down to the next joint where there are 5 flowers. And this guy's just a bud. He looks sad. He looks eaten. But let's see what it looks like when he opens up. Same as this. I mean, it just brown around the edges. I have no idea what's going on. But they were gorgeous just a few weeks ago. And that one looks pretty. That one's done. Not diseased, just it's done. Okay. And this guy back here. I don't know. Again, I'm going to be patient. Oh, he's gone. Goes back to 3 leaves, 3 leaves. Oh, there's the first 5-leaf section. Cut it right there. I don't know. I'm going to be patient. As I said, I'm just going to be patient. We're going to see what happens. Fingers crossed it all works out. This one is a soul sister rose, and it spent the first year of its life. My sister gave it to me, not for this last birthday I had at the beginning of April, but last year. and I planted it out in the yard. It was in an area that did not get a lot of sun at all, and the rose bush was very tiny after the first year. I just wasn't happy over there, and the roses that produced were not pretty, or they were pretty for a minute and then they weren't pretty. So we dug it up, same as that other Savannah rose. We dug that one up uh, and put it in this area that gets full blasting afternoon sun, and clearly the growth is very impressive. This one also, since it's very close, I'm assuming it's the same problem, has an issue with, I believe, to be thrips. Now this one has, when I treated it, I cut all the buds out, and the flowers that are growing, and this one's kind of small, they usually grow much bigger than this, but these are prettier. So as I said, I'm giving that Savannah rose a little time to uh, bounce back. This is my other bare root fire and ice rose. Obviously mismarked, but it's pretty, and it has just tons of buds. This is just an example of one that I came in and ruthlessly deadheaded, and look at all of these buds. I mean, this is going to be absolutely stunning. This one had a small hiccup with thrips, or again, whatever that is, but it seems to have bounced back pretty well. It has a few chewed up leaves, but other than that, I'm very happy with this. And other than the fact that I thought it was going to be a fire and ice rose, and it turned out it wasn't. So, but it's pretty, so I like it. Well, that's about it for today. Deadheading, super important. Don't forget to do it. I know sometimes it's like, oh, but it's a pretty flower. But if you cut it, 10 more will grow in its place, and it'll just make you so much happier, and it'll make the plant happier in the end because it stresses less. And now it's time to get to the edging. From this video, I'm sure you noticed it's very overgrown. You guys have a wonderful day.